Where to go with the camera, that is always one of the toughest decisions I find myself pondering, especially when the weekend starts to draw nearer and nearer. Do I head to the coast, explore some woodland, return to one of my favourite spots and attempt to recapture a familiar composition? Or do I head into the great unknown, head somewhere new with the camera, head somewhere that I've never explored before? Decisions, it's never easy deciding where to go with the camera, especially to a new location like what I've done today. You always have that nagging feeling at the back of your head. Have I made the right call? Should I have gone somewhere else? Today though, I've come out here because there's a particular composition, there's a particular subject that I've seen that I really want to try and capture if at all possible. As I've said though, there's always that risk, isn't there, visiting new locations. You've got to worry about the fact that you might not find what it is that you're looking for. Like today, I'm coming out looking for a specific composition, trying to get a shot at a specific time. It might not meet my expectations even, let alone find it in the first place. Even still, it could still be a waste. I might not be happy with the shot regardless. But then, regardless of where you go, there's always that risk factor, isn't there? I'm finding lone trees aplenty out on my trips with the camera at the moment. Not that I'm complaining. Found this lovely one just standing here in the middle of the field. I've got this little break in between the dead field, which is kind of just great. There's a lovely leading line towards the tree itself. I'm reminded though, in terms of risking everything and going to a location looking for a certain subject, of a trip out last year. I went out looking for wild heather, and it doesn't grow too much in the southeast, not like what you'd find in the Peak District or the Lake District. And I had two choices. I could either head out to somewhere where I knew that I'd find wild heather, or I could take a risk and opt for going to the second location where I might not be able to find it. Ultimately, when I made that trip out, when I went out with the camera, I took the safe option. I went to the location where I knew I was guaranteed to find some wild heather. And yeah, I was successful and I got some shots I was really happy with. Got a sunrise that I was really happy with. That came out of nowhere that particular morning. Gorgeous light and colour. However, taking the safe option all of the time, is that necessarily a good thing? Of course, it's not just about where I want to go with the camera, it's what I want to shoot with the camera. Well, obviously, what I try and avoid is I try and avoid going back to the same sort of location in consecutive weeks. I don't like repeating myself. It gets a little bit boring, like if you go to the coast 2 times on the trot, even if it's to different places, then you're still shooting the same thing. If there is somewhere that I want to go, and it's very similar to a recent spot, I'll jot it down, I'll put it into the back of my head, and it'll be a location I'll think of for a few weeks' time. Of course, the other factor, the other element that I need to take into account when I'm thinking of where to go, where to visit with the camera, is of course the conditions themselves. There's no point me going to the coast if I want to shoot some long exposures if it's not going to be high tide. Before I head out with the camera, more often than not, I love to see if there's a chance I'll get a beautiful sunrise. So I'll look around at a couple of locations thinking, okay, might like to go here. This is a good sunrise shot to grab. What are the sunrise chances going to be like? Or if I want to go to another location where sunset is the best time to be there, well, there's no point going in the morning, is there? It's all about being prepared so that when I head out my front door, I know almost what to expect. Of course, there's still moments that go and catch me off guard, but the more prepared that I can be, the better my day is going to be. And talking of getting out my front door brings me on to today, and the composition that I'm hoping to capture is a shot that I did see online, and it really piqued my interest. I saw it and I thought, yeah, I've got to come out here, see if I can capture something similar. Well, finally, I've made it out to the water's edge, and what a time to get out here, just as the sun is coming out from behind the clouds. It's really been a mixed day out today. I've had rain, I've had cloud, and now I've got sunshine just at the right time. The composition that I've got, the reason I've travelled out to this little bit of a river is I've got a lone cottage just over yonder. At high tide, the perfect time to come out here. The cottage, it gets enveloped by the river itself, leaving it in a sense of isolation, a sense of solitude. So with it being the middle of the afternoon, I've put a 10-stop ND filter on the front of the lens. I want to drastically slow the shutter so I get a nice milky smooth water that surrounds, that envelops the subject, the cottage in question. I've got the 24 to 105mm lens on front of the camera. I've gone to 105mm. I want to get nice and close, get rid of all the clutter that's in the way of the shot. And with the ND filter on, I've gone to a shutter of 30 seconds. Because it's still quite bright out, I can't shoot at f8. That's the one exception I'm having to make that I usually like to shoot at. I've gone instead to f16. But the moment is on hand. Let's see if I can get the shot. The whole reason that I've come out here today, fingers crossed, the image I share in just a minute is just what I hoped for.